Hey, you guys, I have to show you something that God just showed me. So sweet. Okay, so sitting on the floor in my bathroom because it's the only quiet place right now and I have to do this. So Emma was talking to me today about with her friend. She found out that a girl from one of the local schools, local Christian schools, was kicked out of her school for wearing a shirt that had words on it 3 times. Okay, so this was the 3rd time, and Emma could not understand this. She thought it was ridiculous, you know, how silly of a rule that is. And we've been talking about authority so much lately, and just, I feel like, I mean, maybe it's just because I'm a mom, but I feel like each generation is getting less and less on putting themselves under authority. They think they know better. I mean, I know that's a teenage thing, but I do think even in this world, whatever anybody wants to say goes, right? So authority is just disregarded. And we wonder why we have all these problems. But anyway, I told her how if there was a law set forth for this girl, for the whole school, they had to follow it, and she'd willfully disregarded it 3 times. So she's saying, I don't care about what you say. It doesn't matter to me. Your word is not higher than me, right? Okay, so we had this whole discussion. Afterwards, I'm clapping the girls, the twins in the shower, and it hits me. This is how my brain works, you guys. Or I should say, this is how God talks to my brain. It's pretty funny. But oh my gosh, like a light bulb went off in my head. The 2 places in the Bible, in the New Testament, that Jesus talks about great faith, there was 2 examples of it, right? Okay, the centurion who came up to Jesus asking for healing for his servant. And then the woman, the Canaanite woman, who came asking for healing and deliverance for her daughter who was possessed with a demon, severely possessed with a demon. And it just hit me. I've always heard it spoken from an angle of these people were not Jewish. Okay, so Jesus, when he walked this earth, was giving the good news of the kingdom to the Jewish people. It wasn't until after he died on the cross, rose from the grave, that the message then went out to the Gentiles, because most of the Jewish people rejected him, right? So he came to his own people, but they rejected him. So Paul was given the ministry to the Gentiles, which we are, if we aren't of Jewish descent. Okay, so that's how the message went out. But here, pre-cross, here's 2 people that Jesus comes into contact with that are recorded. Now we know there's probably way more than what's recorded happened. We know that said. But for us, for all of us to learn from all time, there's 2 examples of non-Jewish people coming for their healing, and both were not specifically for them, which is interesting. But it just hit me what I just been talking about. The centurion, what did he say when he came to Jesus? Jesus said, I'll come and heal your servant, because he was used to people asking him to come, and then he came. He laid hands on, that was what he did. What he did for the centurion, because the centurion said, no, Lord, I'm a man under authority. Just say the word and my servant would be healed. And Jesus said, never have I seen such great faith in all of Israel. He said, go at this moment, your servant has been healed. And it was an instantaneous healing. So Jesus was going to go lay hands on. This man said, no, I'm a man under authority. He understood the power of when his word was spoken, his servants responded. And he did the same to Jesus when he gave him that authority place and said, when you just say the word, I will take you at your word that he is healed, right? How awesome. He understood authority, you guys. And then the woman, this is what it was like, okay. The woman, how she approached him was, she was crying, oh, David, son of David, I think. She was pretending to be one of the Jews, because that's just not, anyway, he knew. He called her out, like he knew. And he said, this specific is in Matthew 15, and in verse 23 it says, he answered her not. And the disciples said, send her away, she's crying out after us. But he answered, I was not sent except to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then she came and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. Gosh, that's a whole nother message, but listen, she came and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. And I love this, because man, we think of worship as just like raising our hands and like singing a song. Her worship was crying out, Lord, help me. Okay, so that's for another message. But it goes on to say, but he answered and said, it is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs. And she said, yes, Lord. Yet even the little dogs eat crumbs which fall from their master's table. What did she just tell him? She understood authority. She knew that as her master, as her Lord, his word, the children's bread that she was talking about, this healing that she was coming after, he said was for the children of Israel. She's saying, yeah, but even what falls off the table, we get those who are under your lordship. And it just blew my mind, you guys. Faith understands authority. Faith takes what God says at his word and says, I believe you. Above all else, above what I see, above what I've been told, if your word says it, I believe it. That's what great faith is. I mean, we know that. We know that when we sit back and look at it, but really, we are just cutting our feet out from under us and our children and all this whole world by shoving our face in authority, by coming back and saying, we can do it better. We need to remember, gosh, Jesus preaches this himself, talks about not fighting against authority, but how God put them in place for our benefit, and how we need to submit to the laws because they're in place for our good, even if they're not always good, but we need to serve as though we're serving the Lord in all things. And Christians, believers, are fighting tooth and nail against things, calling things, obviously there's some bad things going on out there. I'm not saying there's not, but we're fighting the people, we're fighting the institutions, and it seems to be in a different way than what Jesus himself told us to. He told us to turn the other cheek when we were hit. When we were hit on one side, give him the other. When they asked us, at that time, centurions, or the Roman soldiers, could make somebody walking in the community carry their packs, all their armor. They could make them carry it for up to a mile. And Jesus said, if they ask you to carry their pack for a mile, you say, okay, I'll do 2. He understood authority. He was trying to tell them. And in fact, the word power in the Bible, if you look it up, it's translated 2 different ways. There is the miraculous dunamis power that they say, that's a Greek word for it. That's the exploding, awesome miracle power of God. And then there's the authority, the privilege and authority that is entrusted to us. They are translated mostly as power, both places. But Jesus gave us the authority to go cast out demons, raise the dead, cleanse the lepers. Oh my gosh, the whole story of the gospel is about us going out and taking the good news and using the authority he gave us. We need to understand authority. When we do, that's what great faith looks like. It understands that we have decided he is our Lord, and dang it, I don't care what I'm staring in the face of. If his word says that by his stripes I'm healed, then that's what I'm going to say. And I'm going to say it every time I look at those doctor's reports. And I'm going to say it every time I thank him, every morning I wake up. I'm going to say it every time somebody asks me how I'm doing. I'm going to say, you know what? I don't care what you see right now, because my God says I'm healed. And we're going to watch what our bodies respond to. Pretty awesome, hey? All right. Talk to you later.